Stojr, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that for me, the biggest summary of how I feel about this is how I felt about the Kulan Gath. Like, I feel like I should like this more, but I just don't. So on the book itself, I have we talked about like one of the first printings or the first printing, I should say. So it's got the sort of more matted paper. My copy's a little beat up. It was a used copy. It's got a remainder mark. It's got scuffs all over it. It's there some of the art doesn't feel as crisp as I would have liked, or as we got in Life Death or in God Loves Man Kills, where those issues really got like a lot of attention and love over the years, and maybe that's the artist, because I'm sure. I think the Masterworks did get past this era, so these are probably the Masterworks scans. But I'd have to go back and check and see, when did the Masterworks of this era come out versus this Epic collection to see if this came out before or after. But when I look at the story content here, there's just a lot of just like, that's okay. There's not really anything memorable. The Life Death 2 was just fine. The Nimrod stuff hasn't really taken off. We've had one sort of battle. The cover with Doctor Doom isn't really even Doctor Doom. Heck, it isn't even in most of these X-Men. You got Storm flying on the cover, and that's not her. That's a robot. The Cool and Goth stuff, I've talked about that. I've sort of wish I liked more, I feel like it was just too condensed. The Nightcrawler stuff was a missed opportunity. I feel like Nightcrawler's a great character, and we could have had a really interesting miniseries there with him. But instead, we get this sort of like pointless, just like kind of fun adventure that's completely silly. Frankly, you could have just done it in an annual. Make that just condense that down to one issue and sort of shove it into an annual. But I think they're experimenting with giving everybody their own little mini series there during this time. Some of the parts that I liked are the parts that are just the regular X-Men issues. So whether that's the anniversary issue of 193, or the stuff on the college campus, and starting to kind of coalesce the team. And there's just not enough of that as you go through here. And we talked a lot about the X-Men Alpha Flight issues, and I thought those were fine. And that's really the rating for this whole thing. I feel like this is kind of just fine. It's average, and I'm going to end up at like a 6.0 for this.
Okay. So we're continuing with our trend of I'm a little bit higher than you, Stojr, with many things, but that's okay. That's why we average them out. So with your 6.0, my 7.0, combined, we're gonna give this a 6.5, and I'm okay with that. It's
Yeah.
although it does make me wonder, didn't we end up giving Morbius a 6.5? I think this is better
Yeah,
than
I have a feeling
Morbius.
I'm gonna one of these days we'll take a pause, and we'll look at, maybe do a segment in one of our fanfares and look at where our ratings are,
That's a good
and
idea.
adjust, like maybe do like a bell curve adjustment type of thing, right? Where we like, now that